Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for another episode of The Way Forward. My name is April Carter, and I am so proud to be a team member with Tennessee Nonprofit Network and being a part of this great event, the Tennessee Nonprofit Conference, coming up on August the 28th. Now, we've had conversations with speakers that will be presenting on August 28th, but now we have like the end all be all with us today. Okay, we love all of our speakers, but
Yeah.
just as a secret, we love Terri Freeman. But we're going to have a conversation today with the Terri Freeman, who will be presenting at the Tennessee Nonprofit Conference on August the 28th, and she is going to be talking about something very important, and we will jump into that in just a moment. But to be sure that you are following along with the conversation, be sure to visit our website, tnnonprofits.org. Jump over to the conference page so you can start to review her session title and description so you can be all caught up. And now, with that out of the way, I am so excited to introduce my colleague, Andrea Hill, who will be helping to lead this conversation. And we will meet Terri in just a second. Hi, Andrea.
Hello, hello, hello. So I'm Andrea Hill, and I work with TNN just like April, and I'm the Chief Development and Partnership Officer here. So we're excited because we feel like this is probably the best one ever. And we'll say that probably the one that goes forward, but this is the best one ever as of today. We're going to jump right in. We're going to ask Terri this first question. Please share a little bit about you, your work, and why you're so excited to be a part of and present at our conference this year.
Well, first of all, hi, Andrea. It's nice to see you, and I'm excited about being a part of the conference. I have worked in and around the nonprofit sector for almost all of my career, which is 40 years in now. And I have run nonprofit organizations. I have chaired nonprofit organizations. I've been a board member, just a participating board member on nonprofit organizations, and currently I am president of the Reginald Lewis Museum in Baltimore, Maryland. But I also have a consulting firm called Spark, and it is really focused on nonprofit management, leadership development, and board development.
Fantastic. And so with all of that background and experience and expertise, your session is on purpose-driven leadership, but in uncertain times. So without
Mhm.
giving away too much, can you give us just a little insight into the session and what everyone can expect when they are in the room?
Sure. The reason I thought that this session would be useful is because we are certainly operating in uncertain times. Things are changing very, very quickly. The addition of AI is something that, we are not certain what that's going to mean for the sector yet. The economy is such that we're not certain where that's going to land the sector as of yet. Yet that said, we still have to lead, right? We still have to run these nonprofit organizations. So I believe really strongly that at the center of all nonprofit leadership is the mission slash purpose of the organization of which we are leading. What I didn't mention earlier was that I was formerly the president of the National Civil Rights Museum. And the mission of that organization is what I always led with, right? Always leading with that big, bold mission that the National Civil Rights Museum had. And the same goes for the Reginald Lewis Museum. So, what I want nonprofit leaders to do is not get flustered by the uncertainty, but always place at the center of their work, their mission, and their purpose, both their personal purpose and their professional purpose. So, as I talk through these lessons, is the way I present this through 5 lessons that I have learned over the course of my 40-year career. I believe they apply to every leader in these uncertain times in particular. So I'm not going to give away any more than that.
That was amazing. I'm ready to sit in the back of your session and soak it all up. Because all of us are at different stages in our nonprofit career, and certainly everybody is going to be coming to the conference. But I think you align very well with what TNN says. We always start with our why, and we always go back and reframe everything that we're doing with that why. And so that's going to be great. I appreciate that. Now, when you're presenting, what is your presentation style? And then how will you keep the audience engaged? Now, you're already a dynamic speaker, so I can tell that right now. But, tell us a little bit so the other people who don't know you will know how you present. Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is different than making, a keynote speech, right? A keynote speech, you're talking to people. In a conference session, you're talking with people. So my goal will be to present these lessons, but as I present these lessons, ask the audience to bring to the table things that are concerning them that they can apply these lessons to. So I'm going to probably ask people to work in groups. And as we move through this, what I'd like them to see is that they can develop a roadmap for any questions that they may have with regard to things that might be going on in their organization at this moment. Will they come out with all of the answers? No, it's going to take more than an hour session for them to figure out. But I want them to at least be able to begin to say, okay, so lesson 1 says X. Let me think about my circumstance and how would I apply lesson 1? Or this is what happened. How could I have applied lesson 1 and how could things have turned out differently? So the goal will be to actually get people to apply the lessons to something that actually has happened or is going to happen with regard to their leadership and their organization, and then to bring it all together at the end.
That is absolutely wonderful. And I love the idea of not having all of the answers at the end of the session, but we will be able to take a step forward in the right direction. And so with the theme of the conference being the way forward, how does your session, when you're thinking about purpose-driven leadership in uncertain times, how does that integrate and aligns itself with the theme of the conference and the way forward? And why is this integral to the nonprofit sector?
So I think gone are the days of certainty. Okay, that's never coming back. We're never going to have certainty, right? We are always going to be dealing with something that potentially can take us a little off kilter, right? But the way forward will always be, as I said, and as you all said, looking at your mission, your purpose. One of the things that I think nonprofits can do that gets them into trouble is mission creep, right? Because the money is available for X. And even though you do Y, well, maybe I can do a little bit of X and then get this money. And that begins a cycle of how, frankly, it begins a cycle of the demise of organizations because you just can't spread yourself too thinly. So for me, the way forward is recognizing that the sands are shifting and they're going to continue to shift. But that doesn't mean that we don't move forward in the direction that we have to go, always thinking about what we have said our mission is, what we tell our communities our purpose is, and the vision for what we want to see in the future.
That's great. And as you were saying something about the sands of time, I remember sitting with my grandmother and watching soap operas. So I know one of those soap operas had something about some sand. We'll talk about that later at the conference. We've talked about you. We've talked about your skill set in doing your presentation, what you'll offer. Now we want to know a little bit more about you. So here's the toughest question, because we have a big state. But if you have 48 hours of time, free time, which I know you don't have a lot of, but if you had 48 hours of free time, how would you spend it? And what would your agenda be?
How would I spend it in Tennessee?
Yes.
Well, that's pretty easy. I'm going straight to Memphis, Tennessee. I'm starting at the National Civil Rights Museum. I'll probably next go to the Stax Museum. I'll probably then eat my way through the rest of Memphis. I have to get some soul fish. I have to get some mem pops. And then you can lay everything else out for me in front of, it just, Makeda's cookies. I actually really miss those since they were catty corner from the National Civil Rights Museum. But yeah, I would eat my way through Memphis and listen to some good music through my time in Memphis. So no doubt though that I would start at the National Civil Rights Museum.
Fantastic. Andrea, will you have our tickets together? Can you talk to somebody and get us a special tour? And we'll be right behind you. We won't bother you. We won't ask any questions, but we love visiting the Civil Rights Museum. And thank you for all of the time and effort that you pour into the Civil Rights Museum, National Civil Rights Museum, and for saying yes to being a presenter at the Tennessee Nonprofit Conference coming up on August the 28th. So if someone is curious, is like, I want to get in touch with Terri, I want to follow her to get to know her before August 28th, how can someone connect with you and begin to learn more about your company, your firm, or the work that you're doing?
So I'm currently, like I said, president of the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. And so you can find us at theLewisMuseum.org. But you can follow me personally on Instagram at Boss Lady. I think it's Boss Lady Freeman. I think that's it. I'm really awful with, but I tell you what, I will bring all my handles with me when I get
Yes.
to Nashville, and I will make
Yes.
sure that people can get in touch with me.
Okay, everyone. So with that, we have good news and we have bad news. The good news is if you are in Nashville, if you've already gotten your ticket, you will be able to have a conversation, get all of her handles, know how to follow her on August the 28th. However, if you, for whatever reason, life did not align with your schedule and you did not get a ticket, we are sold out. So you will have to wait for the next opportunity to connect with Terri Freeman because the conference is sold out and we have a very long wait list. But for everyone that will be joining us on August the 28th, we cannot wait to see you in the room. We cannot wait for you to be in the session and learn about your purpose-driven leadership and how you can align it for the future, how you can start to chart your way forward and have practical tips on how you can start with step one. We won't have all the answers, but you will have that step one leaving the session. So any closing words before we close out?
I just think it's so important to attend these types of conferences, even if your leadership is seasoned leadership. You never know when you just might get some gem from a session, or when you might leave a gem at the session. You might be the person in the audience who actually helps somebody else figure out, oh, this is the way that I need to do this work. So I do think that these opportunities are so important. And nonprofits are just a critical part of the civic infrastructure. So being able to attend something like this is really useful, I think.
See, that's a real boss lady there who says that, I know I have the skill set and the knowledge I'm bringing to the table, but I open up the floor for your expertise and your lived experience to contribute. So thank you so much for sharing with us today. We absolutely look forward to seeing you on August the 28th. Andrea, any closing words?
I'm just excited to sit in the back of the room. So since we are sold out, if there is a seat in the room, I'm going to take it. And so others can just stand in the back and listen. So that's going to be great. But also thank you to everyone who has registered. Thank you to our team who's done an amazing job to curate this event for everyone. And also thank you to our sponsors. We are going to have an amazing day in Nashville, and it's going to be because you all are there.
Absolutely. Thank you. And we will see you on the next episode.